Hey there everybody, it's Nathan Kuhl with NathanKuhlPhoto.com, and in this video I want to talk about getting clients for real estate photography. Now this is probably the most asked question that I get, aside from all the technical things, when it comes to business related things on the side of real estate photography. So a lot of this is covered in my book, Business Techniques for Real Estate Photography. You won't need that book to go through that here, although if you are interested in the books in my real estate photography series, I do have a link in the description for this video. A lot of times though, people are looking for one simple thing. What does it take? As though there were a panacea, but there's actually three things that I'm going to cover with you today on getting those clients. The first thing is to prepare. You need to be able to prepare yourself before you can do the second item, which is executing on this. There's a lot involved with that. And then the third thing is sustainability. So I've got a lot of notes here on how to prepare, executing, and also sustaining. And I want to cover all that with you in as short a time as possible, but there is a lot of ground to cover. So let's dive right into it and take a look at first step, and that's preparation. So the first thing to prepare, you have to be able to get good. And I can't stress that enough, is that you can't just all of a sudden decide to go out there and I'm going to start getting clients, because you don't want to let everybody know how bad you are. You want to be able to show that you are worthy of being hired. For instance, you wouldn't go to a restaurant if the chef had only before cooked Italian food, but this is a Chinese restaurant. Well, you kind of wonder what the food might be like. So even though you might have a lot of experience in photography and you've done it before, real estate photography is a very unique genre. It's just like for myself, I don't shoot weddings, and I don't shoot weddings when people ask me to. I'm not a wedding photographer. I'm a real estate photographer, and I also do portraits and other work you might have seen on my site and in my other videos. But I don't do weddings. There's people who specialize in that, and I will leave that to them to do that. Same thing with real estate photography. So you need to actually start getting good. You need to be able to practice on just not the technical skills, but also the speed, so you can get through a property very quickly. So how do you get good? How do you prepare for this? Well, besides my books, besides the videos that I have on this channel, use your home as your lab. It's something that I tell everybody that I train, is that your home is your lab. You aren't going to share pictures that you take of your home. You're just going to be using those as a reference point. You're going to be able to try that no matter where you live. You've got a window, you can do window pulls. You'll inevitably have some type of color problems from white balances and possibly color casts. So you can test a lot of things out where you live. So that's really good to get all that preparation, using your home as your lab, as a reference point. And then the next tempting thing may be, I want to share some of this on social media. Oh, don't. I really suggest not doing that. One of the problems with social media is that, and with all fairness to everybody, and I know you're on my YouTube channel, I know a lot of you follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook and Instagram and all these other platforms don't necessarily work as the best critique platforms for real estate photography. There's a lot of photographers who will give you their opinion, but it's not coming from clients. So there's one reason why you might notice that I don't really participate in discussions on the Facebook groups for real estate photography. There are some very intelligent, very talented people out there. Rich Baum, for instance, he monitors a lot of those Facebook groups. He does a very good job, and I always tip my hat to Rich. But there's a lot of people on there though that give terrible feedback, and I've read it, and I just don't want to get into those discussions. And I've had people that have come and trained with me and go, oh, I knew that wasn't the case, when they had gotten a comment from somebody on Facebook, but then when they actually asked a pro what it really meant, then they got the right answer. Asking Rich, asking Wayne Capilla, asking me, for instance, you're probably going to get a different response than some of the people in these groups who don't necessarily have the acumen yet to give you the proper critique. So anyways, use your home as your lab, practice as much as you can, and you're going to start getting ready for the next step, which is execute. Let's cover that next. So now that you've been able to prepare, you're ready to go on and execute, and you might think to yourself, well, Nathan, I knew I needed to prepare. I knew I needed to get good, but I really wanted to emphasize that. Now, this is where we really get into the meat of it, which is how do you execute on a plan? Now, some people will say, well, you need a full marketing plan and you need to outline this. It's really not that complicated. For real estate photography, this is kind of a trade. It's a skill craft. So you can ramp yourself up slowly to building this. And this is the key to it. As I mentioned before, you don't want to broadcast to everybody that you aren't good yet. What you want to do is obviously get good. You want to be able to prepare on that. And then you want to slowly ramp yourself up. And this is key. So before getting a marketing plan and saying, I'm going to spend this much on a website, I'm going to put together this for business cards, I'm going to do all these business related things, take a deep breath and practice and ramp up. And there's something I talk about in the Business Techniques book, which is called, I call it the local lure. It's a very easy way. The goal of this is you want to be able to get 1, maybe 2 realtors to start working with to ramp yourself up. Now, if you're really going full hog into this and think of it as like a business, every business has an initial loss. So you have to be able to get good at what you're doing. Any trade would be that way. You'd go to trade school for a while. If you were going to be a professional like a lawyer, a doctor, something like that, you would still have to not just do all the college for it, you'd be doing an internship. So you do need to get 1 or 2 realtors, not broadcast the whole world. And one way to do that with the local lure is in your neighborhood, you will see a for sale sign at some point. And that realtor selling that is a potential client of yours. Now, that client, potential client, that agent, that realtor is already using some means of photography. Now, they might have a photographer that they hired, they may be doing it themselves with a cell phone, whatever it is, they have a means of photography and you have to show them that you can do better. But usually they are very forgiving. If you're asking just 1 or 2, you can call that agent, or better yet, send them an email so it's less intrusive. Introduce yourself. I'm a real estate photographer. I only live 3 or 4 doors down from that listing that you have on such and such street. I'd be willing to give you a discount if for other homes that you list in this neighborhood. Now, that's the only time I recommend giving a discount. I'm going to explain some of that when we get into sustainability. But that's one way to attract an agent. You don't want to start asking 5 or 6 agents as local lures. You don't want to do that at all. Word spreads fast, and once again, you don't want to be the one to know, that went out there and it's like everybody saw, it's like, well, this person did your photography, and then the word will spread bad. You don't want that type of publicity, because not all publicity is good publicity. You want good publicity. So you will be able to build your portfolio working with 1 or 2 agents. Maybe you also know someone who's a real estate agent and you can talk to them, but bear in mind, they might not be looking for a new photographer, but I guarantee you somebody will. There's a problem with real estate photography. I talk about this in the BizTech book, is that there's a turnaround, right? There's attrition because it's a tough business. What's the difference between a real estate photographer and a hobbyist photographer? One has more headaches. So if you're really ready to do this as a business and you're going to get complaints, you're going to have tight schedules, you're going to get overloaded with editing, you're going to have unreasonable demands, you're going to show up to houses with all kinds of kids sometimes and dogs and completely unprepared, but you got to keep smiling through the whole thing. Well, this is where you need to slow start, ramp yourself up, and get the good reputation, building your portfolio. So 1 or 2 agents will allow you to start doing this and getting your feet wet into the whole thing. Dip your toe into the water and see how well it goes for you. But once you start building up your portfolio, the word will spread, and then you might start thinking, okay, I'm good. I've got a website. I've got some pictures here of some real listings that I've done. Realtors are talking about me a little bit. I want to bring on more work. If you think you are ready, be careful with what you do for asking about ads. Facebook ads are one of the most popular that I hear people talking about, and I think they are completely useless. Now, I know there's some of you that might go, oh, I've gotten work through Facebook. Well, good for you. I never have, and I don't know any other real estate photographer in this area that's had any success with it for the amount of investment. They're terribly targeted ads. And also the biggest thing, though, is that real estate photography, it's not like wedding photography. So there's a lot of consumers on Facebook. but people don't look for business services from other businesses on Facebook. They tend to do that through Google. So that's the main reason. It's not just that, well, it's Facebook, it's that it's not Google. It's not a platform where people are looking for businesses. So this is a business-to-business thing. That realtor has their own business. That's a brokerage, an agent from that brokerage looking to hire you. So Google, for free at no cost at all, you can have a business listing under Google Business. And that way you can start showing up in search results when people are looking for a real estate photographer in a certain zip code. As things go well with that, you can also expand and at certain times have targeted Google ads. I found they do a way better job than Facebook ads. Google has much more control over it. Facebook, I've seen the strangest things when I've tried to do ads in the past where people are being attracted to the ads out of state. I would never be shooting. I live in Southern California. I wouldn't be shooting a home in Arizona, or let alone someone in San Diego. That's 150 miles from where I live. I'm not going to do that. So Google, I've had much more success. So anyways, if you are thinking about it and you start ramping up, first, freebie, Google Business. Second, possibly pay, think about some possible ads. How much advertising do I spend on my budget? Zero. How much did I do in the beginning? Just a little. I actually found that word of mouth was better, and I'm going to get to some of that into sustainability. Why, as you sustain, marketing starts falling off the wayside, but other things need to have your attention. Very different from some other businesses. Anyways, you do need to keep ramping up. You do need to keep your skill set as you're still executing through this whole process. Then, once your portfolio is big enough, you've got enough clients, word is starting to spread about you, an easy thing to do, and it costs almost no money at all, in fact it should cost $0 for your investment, just your time, is to offer presentations to brokerages. So let's say you've got an agent who works for Berkshire Hathaway, another agent that works for RE/MAX, maybe another agent you've started to work with now, and they work for maybe Troop Real, Century 21, something. You talk to them about, hey, could I give a presentation at your office? Most of these brokerages will have at least a monthly meeting that they'll want to have presenters come in. Now, you can't go into these presentations as, oh, I am Nathan Kuhl and I do real estate photography, here's my card, hire me. You have to be able to show a benefit to them. So it could be a subject. For instance, show some statistics over how different listings in their area, right to their point of interest, right? On the houses they would sell, buy, whatever. That how, for instance, real estate photography has possibly helped. Possibly new things also that are coming out into the industry, new trends that are coming out in photography that, by the way, you offer these services, but you don't hard sell it. So anyways, these presentations cost nothing. If they ask you for money for the presentation, run. I've had some agencies offer that they've got this weekend I can present to their luxury class at this presentation at the Four Seasons and it'll only cost me $800. It's like, are you kidding me? I can go into your office for free. I'm not paying for this. Whoever is desperate. It's not going to be me. So anyways, that's important. Also along the lines of freebie stuff to get advertisement out there, you might be tempted to give discounts. The word would spread. I'm going to give a coupon to everybody. You might get away with that with portrait photography, wedding photography, real estate photography. It's going to be death to you. It's just something I do not recommend doing at all. For one, it screams desperation. Remember, this is a business-to-business thing. The other thing is that you will start attracting the wrong type of clients. You're just going to get price shoppers. That's the same reason, too, why I'm not a big fan of posting prices out on the website. As I point out in the book and Business Techniques, is that you're getting price shoppers. They're just looking for the lowest deal. If they like what you do, they know you're going to be competitive. They know you're not going to be charging Hollywood prices to go out and shoot a home in their neighborhood. So they're not going to be worried as much. Yeah, they will want to know price, but that's one of the least of their concerns. So if you're just getting price shoppers, you're getting onesie-twosie clients, and they also tend to have other problems. A client looking just for low prices, that's the tip of the problematic iceberg. There's a whole lot of crap that lies underneath the water. Stay away from those clients. Don't give discounts. So anyways, you've been able to now execute, covered all that, what you can do to get out there. That's where things are just starting to get the ball rolling though. So let's talk about the last item here, and that's sustain. So execution is not a one-time thing. There's a whole bunch of sustainability, and that's the way it is really for any business. No business just goes out and advertises once and that's it. No, we've got these great customers, they come in, we can stop our advertisement and just continue on as business as normal. Now, as I mentioned before, my marketing budget, practically zero. But the sustainability is still there. It's something that you still have to keep working on. It's not the same though as maybe your initial marketing to get stuff out there. Remember, word of mouth is king. So word spreads and you do want it to spread good. You're ready, you executed, all that's fine. You got some clients now that are coming in. But remember that realtors can have very short careers. There's a big turnover in realtors. Some last for just a year, some 2, 3, maybe 4 years, and then there are some that last decades that have been around forever doing this. The ones that have been around for a long time, they may eventually look for a real estate photographer because, as I mentioned, there is an attrition because it is a problem. It's very difficult doing this type of photography, almost any genre really, because it can be a lot of hard work when you do this on a pro level. But you have to be able to then keep that flow of clients coming in. It doesn't mean you keep advertising. It means that you keep your reputation stellar. So a lot of that, it is obviously the technical part. You have to stay good at what you do. You need to have that acumen. You need to be able to execute well. When you go on site, you're getting quicker, you're getting faster, you're getting a better quality picture all the time. The work that you do is constantly excelling. So practice, practice, practice is very important. But most important above all, even no matter what type of quality photography you can provide, it won't matter a hill of beans if you're not a nice person. So this is a service industry, and this is something that a lot of people forget about. And a lot of photographers get into real estate photography thinking that they're just going to shoot buildings, just shooting things. They won't have to worry about people because there's no bridezillas, there's no screaming kids or dogs running all over the place doing pet photography. But no, you're wrong. Real estate photography, if you're thinking along those lines, you're way off. There's a whole lot of people involved that you'll be dealing with, not just the agents themselves, but their sellers. And they will vary widely. They're very stressed trying to sell their home. They can't always be gone when you're going to show up on site and shoot. So you're going to have a variety of things that you are up against, and you have to handle each situation with grace. You can also smile when you say no. A great example of this, for instance, is when people ask me for discounts. As I said, I'm not a big fan of discounts. When they do, I don't have to tell that agent, no, of course not. I wouldn't give a discount. I'm making cool. I wouldn't say something like that. Of course not. What I do is I just smile and say, no, I don't give discounts. That's it. I don't say it pretentiously. You don't have to be angry about it. You can just smile when you say no. This is a big thing in the service industry. Same thing then when you show up on site and things aren't quite ready. You don't just say, oh, well, you should have done this and this. I had a checklist out there. I've got other things to do. This cost me $100. I'm going to charge. Yeah, I do have cancellation fees and I do talk about that. But when you show up for the first time, a client's not ready for whatever reason, try to work with them a little bit. Say, well, I don't have the time now. Normally this would be $100 since you're not ready and there'd be a cancellation involved here, but this time I'll let it slide. So you have to be able to work with them. Show that you'll go above and beyond. Have those policies in place, but don't worry about executing every single one to nickel and dime them. Now, if you show up a second time and that realtor's not ready, you need to pull them aside and have a little talk with them and let them know it's like, these really need to be ready. I've only got such and such time on site. I'm going to have to charge you for the whole thing if I do stay. Or, and this is something else I talk about in the Business Techniques book, be ready to charge by the hour, right? And give them that option. And I've done this before, and some realtors have said, no problem, that's okay. Where I should have been on site for an hour and a half and I looked there not ready, it's like, we're going to be here for quite a while. You're going to still be moving stuff around. I can charge you though by the hour, and I do have until, and whatever your cutoff time is, let them know, and then they get whatever it is during that time. These are flexibility things that show that you can smile, you work with them, you understand what's going on, and you treat people with respect. That is probably one of the biggest things. You can put the camera down. You don't have to worry about flash and aperture and ISO and all these settings. If you can't be a nice person, nothing else matters. So work on that and try to practice patience as best you can. And as you go through these shoots, the more that you can do to practice patience. Remember, you aren't going to be there forever. You're going to be able to go home and scream into your pillow at night if you need to. But that will give you the best word of mouth. Your word will spread about you as not just being good at what you do, but being good to all the people that you work with. So big one also. I want to cover one last thing, and that's when it comes to the whole execution, marketing, sustainability thing. A lot of people think that sustainability means that you need to start putting more ads out there. So I need to come up with a marketing plan for 2020, 2021, and all this out there. Yeah, you might want to throw some more ads out from time to time if you're starting to dip a little bit. But the biggest thing is that in real estate photography, we have an advantage that's quite often overseen and not executed well with a lot of photographers. You have to realize, and this is the key of it, is that we have pictures that are viewed by every realtor in town. So when you have an MLS listing out there, it isn't just the listing agent that sees your pictures. Hey, these are great, I'm going to put them on my MLS listing. But all these potential buyers that are in your area have an agent, and that agent is looking at that listing, and so are those buyers. So two things come out of that. One, these other agents will ask about those pictures if, and only if, those pictures are stellar. If they're just so, they're okay. You're just another, just another photographer out there shooting pictures. Oh, who cares? They're not going to ask, they're not going to inquire. Your name won't spread. If you can do awesome work, stellar work, and yeah, it takes some extra effort, but you put that extra effort into it. It's not just that hourly wage that you're getting that you calculate out. I talk about in BizTech. It's that you have this investment in your marketing, and it was only time. Because you've got these awesome pictures that are being spread around the entire area, and they're going to stand out. The other thing is that realtors often will get hired and sometimes demanded by their sellers to use good photography. They'll be very disappointed. I've gotten a lot of clients that way, where the sellers have been very disappointed. They demanded that they use a professional photographer. They've come, they've hired me, they like the work, everything went well, and I've got repeat business out of them as well. So remember, on your sustainability, don't just get good, get good. I mean, get really good. Really excel at everything you do in every shoot. I don't care if it's a trailer, a small condo, whatever it is. Make it look fantastic. So this will help spread word about you that if you can make that trailer look good, if you can make that condo look good, imagine what he could do to this 8,000 square foot home, this 10,000 square foot estate that's on the lake over here. Those are the gigs that you'll get, and then you'll have sustainability. Anyway, so once again, it's not just a panacea. There's three things. Remember, prepare, get good, get really, really good. Slowly work your way into it as you start executing your plan. You don't want to dive into it. You want to be able to get one or two agents. Start working with them a little bit. You can find a local lure, somebody to start working with that's going to be listing houses in your neighborhood. And then thirdly, after you've ramped up and you've been able to give presentations and do all this type of stuff that are free, by the way, and not wasting money on ads on every social media platform, is that you need to be able to sustain it. You need to be the nicest person out there. You have to be a great, fantastic vendor to people that are under a lot of stress trying to sell this house and other houses as well. So continually practice what you're doing, continually excel at what you're doing, never be completely happy with what you're doing. Try to do the best on every single job. Guarantee you work hard, good things will happen. At the sake of sounding like a Tony Robbins motivational video, I hope this, though, was useful for you and that you can use some of this in your photography as well. If you did like this video, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It won't cost anything, and as soon as one of these videos is posted, you'll be the first to know. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe, and get out there and shoot something.